Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon. I'm so happy to have you guys here on the show with Will, the amazing Bull Rider Morris, and me, Diego Rodriguez. Today, we're talking about something that's very, what's the right word? How would you sum up the pandemic, Will? What would be a good one-line sentence to sum up what happened in the past
Uh,
nine
for
months,
me,
11 months?
in what I do, it's kind of been chaos is the word,
Mm,
the word that kind of comes to mind. But also to put it into a phrase is that, especially for what I do in real estate and investing, um, it there's opportunity in chaos. I guess is the way I've been approaching it, and the opportunities that's been coming out of it. So I'd say it's chaos, but at the same time, there's opportunity in that. So
so your pandemic has been chaotic.
yeah,
I would say that many of us share that exact same one liner, and because of that, I want to go into today's topic, which is going to go over the marketing and the business aspects before the pandemic hit, when and during the pandemic, which is currently right now, and then what we predict or what we see happening once it starts normalizing, once it starts opening back up again. So I want to go into one of the biggest trends right now is the shutting down of businesses by the government. And that has been a major impact to many business owners and communities. And the marketing behind that goes that well, what would be a more efficient way of saying this? How can you market when your business is literally being told by the government you cannot do anything? That's a hard one. And
well, I,
how do you pivot?
that's what I was about to say. I think you got to pivot. Is the word. You got to be nimble. You got to be willing to pivot. For me, what the COVID has done, the pandemic has really kind of progressed everything. Say 10 years. I think we were already heading in these trends and stuff, but I think it just kind of pushed everything, advanced it 10 years in a year,
You think
and
this
so
accelerated?
accelerate. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I
What
think
did
it
it
did.
accelerate specifically? Like what
The
aspect?
online is going to be a big one. Marketing specifically, it's going to be how you market when you can't. I mean, take like what I do when you can't necessarily go have a meeting. Look at Zoom. Zoom has become the new kind of the new meeting place, and how do you
That's right.
leverage that? How do it don't really have the same effect a lot of times, but definitely on your more brick and mortar type of businesses, the having to pivot to an online, being able to attract, you know, pre-COVID, it was like maybe transacting or maybe attracting, maybe marketing. It was kind of pieces of the online game mixed in. It's kind of integrated, but now, it's really like full blown. Like you need to market and attract. You need to build rapport and transact online. You know what I'm saying? Well, even down to a restaurant, if they're doing a takeout order, how do you build that value
Restaurants
to the
specifically.
customer. You know what I'm saying? When all they're doing is swinging by and grabbing something and leaving, it's not like you're providing customer service really there. So, um,
The Zoom. I want to bring this up. We're talking about pre, during, and post. Like you said, pre-pandemic, Zoom really wasn't that used. I mean, it was used, but it
yeah,
wasn't used to the severity that is now. Meetings would always be at the office, or it would be at the location facility or wherever the target designated area would be. And then you would have people in that office and you would sit down every day or every other day whenever it's held and go through the daily operations and what has to get done. All of a sudden, everything gets closed down, everything starts going crazy, masks have to be put on, and Zoom blew up. I mean, I'm gonna look up the numbers right now, but everything started going over Zoom. Schools, all the schools had to go on Zoom. Everything was online learning, online education. The court systems, if you have a court case, instead of going to court, you have to do your court on a computer in Zoom, dressed up, and you don't have your pants on. I mean, it is mind-boggling that in 2020, now 2021, that we were able to experience such a shift, and at the same time, like you said, Will, we were able to pivot once we were hit with that pandemic restrictions. Instead of saying we can't do any more business, Let's switch and go on Zoom, do this online, and get it going. And if anything, I think a lot of businesses have been impacted very positively by this. Wells Fargo has loved it because a lot of their analysts can go home and do the exact same job they were spending all of this money for office space to do it. But on the same side, there's the other contrary belief that workflow is not the same anymore because you're not going into a position where you get motivated or you get that discipline installed into you every day by your comrades or the people that work next to you. So when you're by yourself, it is a very different feeling. So Will, I want to tie this in with where we're going for the next one. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered right now. And I want to be very specific with let's give a few good answers for questions that are out there right now. So I'm going to throw out 2 questions. I want you to give me 2 questions as well. So we'll have a total of 4. And then let's get to it. So one of the questions that I'm going to throw out first, it was written on Quora and it was by a business owner. And this is what he wrote. I have no idea how I'm going to market my pizza business when all of the people that are buying pizza are either having it delivered to their house, are either buying it from the store and freezing it and then reheating it, or they all together just won't come. Nobody's sitting down in my spot anymore. What do I do? Gino's Pizza. So I'm assuming this guy, I can't even look him up. I should have looked him up. But I'm assuming it's old school marketing. You know, it's you show up in the place. It's got probably 4 booths. Booths, yeah, huh? It's not even a little chairs. You got 4 booths. And you order your pizza, you sit down, you eat it, and you leave. But now you can't go in there. You have to either call an order, you have to order online, or what other options do you have? I have to text it online. I have to call. I'm pretty good in SMS version. Like I text you, hey, I want this medium-sized pizza with these toppings. Can you have it ready in 20 minutes? So that'll be some good ideas. What do you think, Will? What are some things he has to start looking at?
Yeah, I think you're on the right track there. I mean, you're going to have to think outside the box, and I think it's going to be really hard. I think it is hard for a lot of these traditional business owners, especially brick and mortar, that didn't grow up, with technology or a phone in their hand. But at the end of the day, your phone has become the new gateway to your customer. And so what I would start doing, or what I'm already doing, I mean, you know me, I like starting businesses and stuff. So, I mean, something that I'm already looking at is like mobile apps. I think, we went through a phase of mobile apps a few years back that kind of got
applications.
For like your cell phone, something, an actual app that you can download. And we went through a phase that the mobile apps were kind of popular, and then they kind of really phased out when social marketing really came around heavily. But I think this is really starting to. I think it's going to be something that's coming back. I really think so, because there's so many benefits with, being able to literally, and specifically with like brick and mortar local top businesses that have routine customers, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where it's really going to excel, because you can have, if somebody will download your app and you give them, you can give them discounts, you can send them notifications, promotions. You're in your ideal customer, or you're not necessarily ideal, but you're in your repeat customer's pocket 24/7. And so, having that access and to be able to do that. And then it's also the ease of ordering, that we want to talk about, like our customer journey. It's the ease of customer journey, just like you were talking about text messages. I mean, you could totally do that through an app. You could literally click on there, click. I mean, you see some of these guys already doing it. Take pizza specifically. I mean, you got Papa John's, Little Caesars. I mean, the Hot and Ready's, all that stuff. You download their app and you can click. You walk in, you just grab it out of the cooker and you're gone. You don't even talk to nobody. And so that's the kind of innovation that even these brick and mortars are going to have to implement, or they're not going to exist. I mean,
Will, Gino's Pizza, established in 1975. Ooh. There you go. And kind of marketing was back then, dude. That's 40 years ago.
And here's the thing. I guarantee they probably make a pizza 10 times better than
it looks good.
Your mainstream, more franchise type pizzas. But the problem is that nobody knows about it if you can't
obscurity.
Tell them. Yeah, obscurity. Exactly. So,
Will, you brought up 3 main points that I have to make sure that the people listening to, or you specifically that you're listening to, if you're a business owner, this is something that you have to take note of. Number 1, repeat customers. By having an app, Will was talking about it. By having an app, you can target the people that have already shopped at your location. I mean, part of business is getting the people to buy again, buy more of what you already sold them, and hopefully keep getting them on the life value of a customer, the LTV, right? Is it, or hold on, life? What's the acronym for it? The life value of a customer.
Yeah,
Life value.
it's life to value, life to value, something like that.
Life. There you go. Lifetime value. It's the
Lifetime value. That's LTV.
There you
Lifetime
go.
value.
And with the app, think about this. This is something that just popped into my head. You track the people that had already been there. You give them promotions so they come back. So you're already bringing back your repeat customers. And then you said the ease of ordering. It's two ways: the person who takes the order and the person who actually puts in the order. With an app, you're taking away the option of, hey, hi, how are you doing? What do you want? It's literally just, we got a ticket. They put in everything they want. Quick, easy. Let's make this happen. It takes down the time of your production, and it takes down the time of your hours of operation. That's
Well,
money back in your pocket.
To add to that, with this, if they do pass the $15 an hour stuff, let's talk about Gino's Pizza here. I mean, if he has 4 employees, he has one, working the front desk, 2, and then, 3 people behind it.
That's right.
You could
got
almost
the cashiers
eliminate
and the cooks.
You could almost eliminate that front person with an app. Even if somebody does walk in, a random person does walk in, you can literally have a mobile device sitting there that they just order it right there, and then the cooks.
Who does that? McDonald's does that. They have a stand, and you literally walk in there, and you don't even go order it. You literally go to the computer and you type in what you want. That's right, Will. That is true.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it may not seem like a lot, but I mean, if you take $15 an hour, times 40 hours, say they're getting 40 hours, I mean, it's $600 a week. And then you got taxes and unemployment, your employer contribution on top of that's about another probably 300. I mean, you're talking about potentially almost $4,000 a month savings by eliminating that one person, which it sounds bad, but at the same time, you got to survive.
What happened when the stagecoaches replaced by vehicles? I mean, people lost jobs, stagecoach manufacturers lost employees, but what happened? I mean, the tide changed, technology evolved, business practices evolved. That's what's going on right now. Wouldn't you agree, Will? Everything's evolving. Technology is evolving. Elon Musk on his new episode with Joe Rogan. By the way, I should get on there with you. We should talk about some cool stuff with him. He asked Elon Musk, hey, what do you think is going to happen in the next 5 years? He said, we're going to probably have people in Mars by then. Can you imagine? In the human history of all of the craziness that has happened by our ancestors, none of them have ever been able to utter those words. We will have men in Mars in approximately 5 years. Wow. Kings, pharaohs, monarchs, nobody. So back to Gino's. Let's compare him to some powerful people. So get some apps. Okay, mobile app. I want to make sure that when he sees this, because I'm going to send this to him. When he sees this, he has an exact idea of what needs to happen. When you say mobile app, does he go out and hire somebody to get it done? Does he go out and look for somebody that does this as a service and ask them to connect them? What should be the first steps, or what should be the mindset that he should have when approaching the situation?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, if I'm selling it, then of course you need to come hire me, but I'll give you the golden nugget. I mean, you can Google, mobile apps, and there's I think you got Appsy or something like that. Trying to think of a couple of names of them, but I know you got Buildfire, but they've gotten a little expensive. Buildfire.com, you got Appsy.com or something like that. You got Appsy Pie or something. But anyway, there's a couple of them on there for as little as $20 a month. They have templates already made, so you don't have to be a coder or a designer or anything like that. They have templates. You just click on it. They probably even have a pizza one. You just click on it, change the name.
They already have it.
I guarantee you they probably do. And so for as little as $20 a month, and you could probably even hire somebody on, Fiverr or Upwork for a couple $100 to actually do what they call the user interface, the front end of it, the design of it, and actually link up to, links and stuff like that to say that, probably link it with Stripe or something like that for the processing. A couple $100. So, I mean, within $1,000, you should be up and running and ready to go. And you can start marketing, hey, download our app for, exclusive
Powerful.
coupons, you know what I'm saying? Like that. You got to give them a motivation too. So, say, hey, look, we're giving exclusive, discounts through our app, and truly give some good discounts because, even if it goes back to, like you said, the lifetime value of that customer is that, yeah, you may give up, 50% on the first order, but they download your app and now you're in their pocket. And so, because statistically, 9 out of 10 people that download an app rarely delete it. You know what I mean?
That's right.
So you look
And
at
the
my phone.
upsells is unimaginable. Imagine all the upsells that you can have. I mean, it's McDonald's. They lose money selling you the burger. They make their money selling you the fries and the Coke and everything else.
Yeah, and that's what I would do is I would do that. And then like from a marketing standpoint, I would rely heavy on the app. Like you said, you could go through. So say if you had, say like the pizza place there, he has a location, a brick and mortar. There's not a lot of people coming in. Well, what he can do is just kind of lean into it.
They can't come in. They can't come in.
Okay, well, they can't come in.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, but see, they can't come in on a public scale, but could they come in on a private party? So through the app, he could start scheduling Saturday birthday parties. Hey, get, $200 an hour or whatever. And it includes 3 pizza pies and, up to 6 people or 12 people or something like that. And you can start having birthday parties and different things. So, you got to lean into it. You can't run from it. And
mobile app, number 1. Text messaging, SMS messaging, email marketing. That has to go back. That has to be really dived into heavily. Wouldn't you agree, or would you say that he doesn't need it?
Yeah, definitely. The texting is powerful. Texting has become my new best friend. If you can
people open up a text message,
it's amazing. It's amazing. I literally just set up a room a while ago with a lady. So on a massive real estate deal through a code text.
Ooh.
So
it's just another medium of communication. So I'm gonna wrap up this question. So for you and the owner of Gino's Pizza, you have been established for a long time. Unfortunately, in your business plan, you did not have government will shut down my business, close down my doors, and make sure that nobody comes in because of something that happened across the world. Nobody had that in their business plan. However, there are resources now that you can take advantage if you haven't taken advantage of them already. Number 1, like Will said, take priority in getting your app built. Get it done, get it finished, and get it pushed out. That way you can utilize it and you can use it as a mean to funnel in your customer base, your client base, reach out to them, sell to them, have transactions, and also stay in touch with them. Through your app, you can also send messages. You can also relay information towards them. Number 2, when it comes to marketing, right now, I guarantee he is probably not posting ads. He is probably not going on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, doing lives. He's probably not showing the process. He's not documenting the process of the creation of the pizza, of just opening the doors and getting through the day. There's so many missed variables. And because of that, I would say watch our next video that we will have, and it would explain to you all of the different points of interest in a business that you can record and show to your clients and your customer base so they can actually be engaged with you. And lastly, right now, Will is how would you describe your businesses? Because you have quite a lot. You have a lot. You have a Parthenon of businesses. You have many pillars that support a base, a foundation. So that's what he has. Will has a Parthenon of businesses. And one of the things that he was telling me about is that business owners right now need to be able to pivot with the way they get out of obscurity. Just because we're in a pandemic doesn't mean people aren't buying. People are still buying right now. There's still money in the market, and it's being pushed into it. It's being liquidated inside the market. So it's not a lack of money. It's a lack of resourcefulness to connect yourself with the people that have that money, that have your money. Like Grant Cardone says, who's got my money? Pretty much that's it. It's the people.
Here's basically what I do. What I try to do is I try to be vertically integrated and each vertical integration kind of becomes its own business once it gets to a scale, right? So even like take Gino's Pizza there, the answer is kind of in the question when you were talking about that. What I would do is if I was, of course, what we've already talked about, but he said, how can I sell pizzas when all everybody wants to do is they want to grab one and they take it and bake it? Why is he not making a take and bake? Why is he not
Oh, that's an interesting
advertising,
idea.
hey, Gino's Pizza, stop by, take and bake it at your
You
home?
don't
And
even.
so
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't think about that. Like,
and so but
yeah.
here's what it does is it creates another vertical for
Mm.
him to where you never know, like that may be he may be the next DiGiorno, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody knows. It's just but you've got to adapt that way. And so like I would do that if I was him. And this is what I mean by vertical. So this is what I do is I'll take an industry, a space, and then I'll see how I can get vertical in it or within sistering spaces. So like he could go into the take and bake. Well, now he just went from a pizza brick and mortar to a to like a take and bake type of pizza. And it's always good to to kind of distinguish yourself there. Which there's multiple ways of doing that between branding, between story, between just what he puts on his pizza. I mean, I've never seen a take and bake with anchovies, for example. Maybe he has one with fresh anchovies, and he starts a new anchovy take and bake club on Meetup, and then they come by and they all grab it on Thursdays, and he sells 37 pizzas on every Thursday.
Power of community. The power
That's it.
of community. Will said it amazingly. Meetup, by the way, if you guys don't know already, Meetup is an app, it's a social media app that is used to get people like-minded
Local, kind of local, yeah,
locally
yeah.
to go to an actual location and do something. For example, an event, if you're hosting a party, if you're hosting a study group, you can use Meetup and bring people in together. So what Will's saying is for your business, use Meetup and bring it together for a pizza club. You know how many people love to learn about pizza or love to see the process or just be a part of it? Bring in, invite 40, 16 show up, and guess what? Those 16 people, out of those 16, 5 of them will guarantee go to your business and get a pizza after your class. That's easy money.
And then also, talking about that, like lean into it. Like, you could
Yes.
go into meetup.com, for example, go in there and find a group that has 76 members, and they meet up there's people that they still meet up. I don't care, what the lockdowns are, but they say they meet up every Thursday
So meet
and
up with the
talk.
mask.
They taught up, yeah, they meet up with a mask. Well, guess what? Reach out to them and say, hey, I'd love to cater pizza for you all. I'll give you a discount. Another thing is the sauce. Like if Gino makes such great pizza, the sauce, maybe he's got grandma, my great grandma from straight out of Italy's sauce, start
Package
making
the
the
sauce.
sauce, package the sauce up. Now it's another vertical,
You know what, Will? I'm sorry, I gotta kindly interrupt you. It just clicked into my head. What Kevin O'Leary, Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary said on one of his videos. You have to find a way to repackage your product and put a price tag on it. That's really what he's doing. He's repackaging a pizza and putting it in sauce and putting a price tag on it. That's what Will's saying. You need to find verticals, find a way to package those products and get them out there for the market. One pizza can be, you can sell the sauce. What else could you sell? You can sell the frozen, take and bake.
The frozen, yeah.
You
Frozen,
can sell the fresh, and you can sell slices. That's already 4. That's 4 verticals right there. Instead of just looking at it as one vertical.
And then you could do like I said, do like the bulk orders. You could start like a corporate, almost like a catering type of deal. Like have you ever seen a pizza catering deal? I'm not. And
pay for that.
Some people may say, well, why would I do that when I can just order 10 of this? Well, you got to you create the reason why. It's like, well, not only we're going to cater it, we'll bring it, we'll clean it up, we'll bring the napkins, we'll do this, we'll do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's convenience. A lot of people think Uber is taxi. It's not. It's convenience. Uber sells convenience. They don't sell. They're not a taxi service. They don't own a taxi. So.
Will, you said the magic word. Tony Robbins in his Business Mastery said the very same thing you just brought up. The pandemic, if anything, has made one thing transparent. People love easy. People love now and quick. Instead of going to Walmart, you now buy all of your groceries, you go to the parking lot, and somebody puts it in your car. Or they deliver it to your house. That was one of the examples that he used. Now, instead of going to Taco Bell, you pay Grubhub. You pay some guy to drive to the drive-thru, pick up your food, and take it to your house. Will said it with Lyft and with Uber. The taxi is not, it's a car that's moving you. It's just that instead of me having to show some leg and whistle and try to get your attention, I just put my phone up, click a button, and I have someone show up exactly where I'm at. No problem. How can you become somebody in the pizza field or in your business that can eliminate friction? and that can make a process easier, ease of access. I like that, Will. I like that. And that we said 4 questions. Really, we're getting to the end of the segment, so it's gonna be more than like one question. But I would like to throw it back to Will. So I would like to also hear what some of the problems or some of the things that you notice that people are having an issue with, and then let's go into that, and then we'll finish it off.
Let's see. I guess the problem that I'm seeing right now is a lot of I'm trying to think how to word this, but it's kind of like a lot of talk and not enough action. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's thinking about.
Oh, I see.
Because
Too much planning, not enough doing.
Yeah, too much planning. Like they're planning, well, what if we do this and what if we do that? You know, it's just constant analysis. It's just paralysis of analysis paralysis. I think it's what's
analysis
called.
paralysis.
So that's what I see a lot of, and you know, just like this guy Gino with the pizza stuff. I mean, he's thinking, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? But a lot of times you get caught up in the question and not plowing ahead, you know. And so that's one thing I'd like to see is like, how can we, you know, even more so now, because everything is kind of changing, you know, how can we get out of that paralysis analysis and start, you know, taking action in everybody's business?
Simon Sinek, the author of Something Managed, I forgot the name, but he has a lot of interesting pieces. And to what you're saying, Will, analysis paralysis, the main thing that he says is one of the main reasons companies won't go into action is simply because they don't know which direction to head into. Yeah. And because they don't have a direction, they'll be settled by going in a circle, because movement will be good enough. Progress is not showing up, but movement is better than just being stuck and feeling like you're not doing anything. So if what you're saying, Will, that people aren't, or I don't want to say everybody, but if the majority of business owners are being overwhelmed or they're just planning and not taking action, how can they break through that and reinstate a better pattern? What will be some things that we can actionably do for them right now listening to this video?
Something that comes to my mind, and this is what I do. So for example, to back up exactly what you said, like a confused mind don't make a decision. And so it's the same thing like what you were talking about there. And so for me, what I've been doing is just being curious, you know, trying something, try it, see if it works, try it, see if it works. You're like, I call it pulling back, like coming back to infancy stage, you know, being that toddler and, you know, touching that sharp object, you know, touching the hot thing. You learn through experience, right? And so that's what I've done is, you know, nobody, you know, there's a lot of gurus out there that are saying this and saying that or whatever, but nobody's gone through what we've gone through in the pandemic and all that stuff. Nobody's ever gone through this. So how do they know, you know, how do they know what's right and what's wrong? And I think a lot of times they just puke of the mouth because they, you know, it gains followers. But in reality, what I've been doing is I've just been trying and, you know, and I try softly. I don't jump all in something, but I try softly, see a little result. So like, take social marketing, for example. If I've never done a Facebook Live, then if I was in Gino's shoes there, whatever, I would try a Facebook Live. You know, he's never done it. Why not try it? There's no harm, no foul. If it don't go nowhere and nobody sees it, then guess what? Nobody's seen it, you know? And
trial and error.
Exactly. And it goes back to like, if, you know, if the tree fell in the woods and nobody heard it, did it ever really fall? And so the same thing for this is like, you know, try social media, try, you know, going live, try LinkedIn, try, you know, try a mobile app, try phone calls, try texting. I don't know what works. I mean, I've not been a big texter for getting leads, and here I was, I tried it and
it worked.
It's paid off. And so now I'm like, okay, you know, now I'm measuring, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, I did this, not so good. Did this, not so good. Oh, I did this, boom, I got one. So now that's become part, you know, now I'm implementing that. So once I have, so what I do is I'll try, and then all of a sudden I'll have a little win, boom, I got a little win. That's when I'm like, boom, I go all in, you know, I push. So now I'm going to go out and I'm going to get me a mass text, you know, app or whatever. And I'm going to start texting like crazy. I'm going to text everybody in the world. I don't care.
SMS autoresponder.
That's it. I'm going to get, because now I've got a little win, you know, I try, I fail, I try, I fail, I try. I mean, I can't tell you how many phone calls I've been making. Nobody answers a phone call from a number they don't recognize anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's very rare
Man.
unless it's
Sometimes the
me.
phone numbers will just be blocked, robocalls.
Yeah,
They don't know you.
I mean, I think I'm the only one, and I think and I'm the only one, and they try to sell me car insurance 100,000 times a day.
Yeah. Calling about your car's
Renew
limited
my car
warranty
insurance.
insurance.
So, I think I know all them by name. I just start talking to them now, try to get a lead out of them.
Oh, that's pretty smart. Hey, you know what? I don't need it, but let me ask you a question. That's pretty good, Will.
Hey, I had a guy call me the other day. He was looking to sell some gold coins. And the guy had a pitch that was on point, and I just started laughing. I said, I'm not interested in buying your coins, but I've got to get your script. Can you email me that? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, yes, you do. And he finally broke. And we had like a 20-minute conversation.
He said, I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, I do.
And you know what he was doing. And I mean,
take some balls to say that to somebody.
He calls me again. I'm going to get that script. You wait and see.
That, you know what? That's funny because I mean, talk about utilizing communication fields with people. I mean, somebody's calling you trying to sell you something, and you try to get something back out. Like, hey, you know what? I don't need it, but I do like your script. It's pretty good. And to tie it up with that up with the ending of this show. By the way, everybody, for everybody that's listening, the primary objective of this show is to bring awareness into the business field in every area: marketing, business, financial, operations, and bring up commonly brought up questions, give solid answers, and give tactical sound advice, strategies, and systems in order to get that job done, or in order to get that objective completed. So for right now, we talked about Gino. So let's summarize, let's recap. Talked about Gino's, talked about how their pizzeria right now, the biggest issue that they're having is that the business has dramatically been impacted because of the pandemic. I can only imagine how sales must look like. Can you imagine how his gut must feel when he sees his books, like the trend of just pure loss? Oh my goodness. So we talked about he needs to get a mobile app, he needs to get it built, go hire it out, go on websites, Fiverr, find somebody that has the capability of getting it done. Get it done. Get your messaging straight with text messaging, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, social media. You know what's a big one right now? TikTok and LinkedIn for business. Huge. HBO Max, Spotify, and Netflix. The first people that you will see when you open that up is Netflix trying to sell you something, or HBO Max trying to sell you something. That tells you how competitive it's going to start getting. So take advantage of that. Put TikToks out there, put LinkedIn. And lastly, what did we talk about? So it was calls, text messaging, emails. Make sure you have your good email direct messaging campaign set up. And lastly, I would say, what would be a pivot point in his business looking for the future now? So this is how I want to end off. So we talked about before COVID, how he used to do it. People will go in, they will sit down, they'll eat the pizza, leave. We talked about during COVID. So the different verticals that he can get in his Parthenon, you know, get different sauces built together so you can package that and sell it. Sell your take and bake, sell slices, sell corporate events, sell big bundles, sell bigger things. And finally, we're going to talk about how it's going to look like in the future. Clearly, we can't see it. We're not future seers, but what we can assume from what we have been noticing, I'm going to let Will go right after this, but what I've seen is that a lot of people that are stuck home will respond a lot more than they used to when they were out in the day at work, doing their stuff, doing errands and chores and being busy. About 40% of time has been now directed back into the home. So find a way to start targeting them to their homes as well. Take your cars and go out there and start giving people samples. Hey, look, what do you think about our new pizzas? That's another option. So that's on me. But that's just one side. What do you think, Will? Him looking into the future.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go back. I mean, if you're in a brick and mortar, I mean, there's always going to be somebody that wants to come in, sit down, eat, you know, stuff like that.
The mindset's going to change about that. I don't want to sit down knowing that we went through all this and somebody can be there, cough, and then I'm screwed for the rest of the week. Nah.
Well, like what I would do would be depend on your location, of course. But if you know, maybe start keying more on like lunch for sit downs and dinner takeouts, you know, like continue to once you build this vertical, like the vertical of online or taking baits, or, you don't quit that. Once you get that going and you get it making money, you get it being profitable, you just continue pushing that, because now those become multiple verticals of your pizzeria or whatever. But as far as the inside, you really have two options. If I was in his shoes, take him specifically, like I said, I would either make it to where if you come in, it might be more of a expensive, but more of like a catered type of deal. So more like a boutique type of deal where you come in, or just do away with it completely and add another kitchen. So like you could do that, or kind of do away with the dinner and just keep it like the lunch, where people come in for lunch, because you do have a lot of workers that they like to come in, sit down, and grab something for lunch and stuff like that. So there's going to be multiple options moving forward, but I think it's I don't think it's going to go fully back to pre-COVID. And even if it did, if you are expecting that, Mr. Gino, if you are expecting that, then be prepared for probably a reduced occupancy on those. I don't think you're going to get 100% of the people to come back the way they were pre-COVID. I just don't.
So because of that, he needs to lean in on his tracking, the way he measures how everything is working. Measure your email responding, measure your text message, measure how everything works. And when the future comes in, as it's going to come in, optimize the channels. Like Will's saying, optimize the verticals, optimize which works best, tweak it, figure it out. And whatever you have that's really working, dive in and work it out. Because right now, the biggest thing that's going on with businesses is that they're stuck. They're stuck in the old way of everything. And since they're not flexible, or they can't turn or pivot at the way or at the direction that they want to, at the time that they want to, they're getting really hit, and they're getting drastically beaten when it comes to finances. Remember, business is all about, can you manage your numbers? Right now, I would say that how Will presented it is how you're going to manage your numbers coming in the future. Make sure that all of your marketing is on point, track and measure what's going on correctly, and just make correct decisions in the coming months with all of that data. What do you think, Will?
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. And with that, that is the end of the first episode, the first official season 1, episode 1 of what the name. What do you think, Will? What do you think? We can get the name down some other time, but for right now, I'll call it the branding show.
I like what you were talking about, kind of like through the pandemic or something like that. I mean, I kind of like it like I don't know, like maybe something like that, like coming through the other side or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
Noah's Ark's marketing.
That's it.
The Noah's Ark show.
No kidding, I like it, because I mean it's you could call it what was it, pre, during, and post.
pre, present, and post marketing.
That's it.
I like that. Look at that, guys. Talk about getting your decisions done on the quick and on the fly with the information that you have available, with what you have at the exact moment. Right now, we didn't even have a name for the show, and we just got the best name. The what was it? The pre,
during, post.
The pre, during, and post
PDP.
Marketing show. PDP. There you go.
PDP show.
Oh, no. The pre, present, and post. The triple P.
The PPP.
The PPP. People's going to talk about it as long as it's catchy. As long as it's catchy, I'll take it.
That's called keyword.
The keyword. That's called keywords, baby. Watch how we're going to dominate with these SEO.
PPP.
And with that, I am Diego Rodriguez. This is Will Morris, and we'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.
See you.